What if your body was a gift and contribution to your life and not something that you've been stuck with? What if your body could change quickly and easily? Right Body for You will inspire you and show you a different way of creating the body and the life you truly desire. Now here's your host, Donnielle.
And welcome everybody to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle. I am your giggle leader. I am your body tour guide, and whatever else you'd like to call me. Hello, hey you. Matter of fact, we have giggles coming out of the air. And she just realized she wasn't on mute. You're adorable. All right, so welcome to the show. This is a different kind of show about bodies. I've been working with shows about bodies for, 30 years. And this show I'm involved with now, which is, by the way, the one you're listening to, Right Body for You, it's the first one that's really taken the body's point of view or the body's preferences or the body's consciousness, awareness into effect and uses that as well to create change in your body, to create ease in your body, to create fun with your body, create joy, and I don't know, what the heck, have a body you actually like. You know, crazy stuff like that. Is it possible to have a body you like and you enjoy? Absolutely. Does it have to be a certain size, shape, or health level? Not at all. Just has to be one that you have no judgment of, and it has no judgment of you. And you know what? Amazing things can go from there, which leads me to the topic today. The producers were telling me before the show that apparently this is the relationship day on A to Zen.fm. Talk about oneness and consciousness. Apparently our A to Zen family tapped into that and went, hey, let's do a show about bodies and relationship and sex and all of those kind of fun things today. So, you know, that time when we always think, oh, I'm so alone, trust me. Things like this let me know I am never alone. Which, just a little side note, you guys, it's so funny. Whenever, I always have I tend, if you've heard my show at all, I tend to be a little bit sarcastic. If you've ever been to my classes, I tend to be a little bit sarcastic. I use humor to move energy a lot. And so what's often is like when I'm checking in with people, like hotels or registers or something like that, they'll be saying something to me, and I'll jokingly say like, oh, it's so nice to have some of the voices outside of my head. And, you know, most of them laugh. But, you know, that is that oneness, that consciousness that we're always tapping into, you know. We do talk a lot about what if that thought you're having isn't yours? Well, what if that thought you're having isn't actually yours? You know, even yesterday I was having some really weird thoughts come into my head. I was like, I'll be honest, I had a freak out about money, which was so flippin' funny because I rarely, if ever, have freakouts about money anymore. And so I did this whole, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money. What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I shouldn't have got this new apartment. And it just went into this whole craziness. Fortunately, I have the tool, who does this belong to? And so even though I was hearing it in my head, you guys, it didn't actually belong to me. You know, I just moved into this beautiful new apartment complex, and I can't tell you the number of people who are sitting there in their new apartments surrounding me going, oh my gosh, maybe I made a mistake at getting this place and blah, blah, blah. So it's really interesting how I tapped into that. Fortunately, I have the tool, who does this belong to? And I returned it to sender, and, you know, the panic attack went away because it wasn't mine. But also, it's like, this is what we're talking about. Like, all of the shows today have to deal with sex and relationship. You know, some people go, oh, that's just because the Valentine's Day was around. Yeah, but a lot of us make our shows months in advance. So it's like we were able to tap into that. So it's like, how amazing is all of that? And where do And what does our bodies, how do our bodies go into that? How do our bodies fit in? Why am I talking about this silly awareness thing? silly awareness, or the voices in your head or everything like that. It's like, why am I talking about that on a body show, quote unquote body show? Well, several reasons, my friends. Stick with me. I will let you know. Because I am now the voice in your head. Ha 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 ha. All right, so, sorry, I can feel people out there laughing. And see, that's the thing. It's like, you ever have those moments where you're like, oh my God, everything is just so funny. It's like, well, who were you sharing that laughter with? You know, even though I'm sitting alone in a room, I'm sharing laughter with you guys. And so we're having a good time with that. So where does the body fit in? Okay. Christine is on the chat room going, I'm always in her head. I know. Hey, if nothing else, she's always in my head too. It's a two-way street, folks. Tell you what, I'm in your head and you're in my head. So the body fits in more than ways than it's in my head. You know, I've said this several times. Oh, it's in my head. It's in my head. The voice is in my head or whatever. It doesn't mean you're schizophrenic. And your body actually has more to do with it than just it's in your head. Because last time I checked, your head was attached to your body or a part of your body. Could be wrong. If you're a different species and your head detaches, let me know, because that would be pretty cool. But in this 10 seconds, as far as I know, all of you guys have your head attached to the rest of your body. Yes, interesting images. Sorry, Keisha. I went sci-fi on you guys. So in today's topic is an interesting one. A lot of energy came up with it. It's called My Body is Turned On, Now What? Okay? And, you know, for me, when I first started acknowledging the awareness of my body, acknowledging the consciousness of my body, and including it in my life, I walked around what this reality would say as turned on, okay? You know, if I was, you know, how they call teenage boys a walking hard-on, it was kind of like that. I'm like, I am constantly turned on. What am I supposed to do with this? Do I hump the bedpost? What do I do? You know, it's like, oh my gosh, I am so turned on all the time. And it's like, so what do you do with that? Am I supposed to be out sexy? That's an interesting phrase. Am I supposed to be out having sex with everything, copulating with everything? Like, what the freak is going on? And that's kind of what we're going to explore today is your body's turned on, now what? You know, it's all tingly. Does that mean you have to have sex? What if it's different? Okay, what if it's different than what we've been taught? So with the whole turned on body, can it mean copulation? Sure, but it also means something else, okay? So I have a question for you guys about, you know, body turned on, body turned off. All right, so right now, turn off your body. How would you do that? How would you turn off your body? Do you have an off button? You know, it's like part of that detachable head that you have somewhere hidden, a little off button. You know, you're like Data from Star Trek, where, you know, he had like the little hidden off button that if you hit it in the back just right, he powered down. You know, it's like, how do you turn off your body? I wouldn't know how to turn off my body. And I mean, does it look? What does it look like? What would it taste like? What would it be like? Would it be like something like death? Is that turning off your body? I don't know. So it's like, but you know what your body is turned on. Okay? So what have you misidentified, misapplied as turn on? Okay? Everything that is, destroy, not create it, right, wrong, good, bad, fuck, nice, shorts, boys, and bounds. And Right Body for You uses the tools of Access Consciousness. Right Body for You is a part of Access Consciousness. And so if you'd like to learn more about the tools of access consciousness that work on the energetic level and the clearing that I just did, go to theclearingstatement.com, and it'll explain every little minutia of everything that's going on in that. But basically, it's just if I ask you to destroy and uncreate it, means are you willing to change that? Are you willing to give up the confusion? Are you willing to give up the decisions or judgments that you made? Okay? So, truth, what have you misidentified and misapplied as turn on? Okay? And I'm asking you specifically misidentified and misapplied because it's like, we talk a lot in access classes about fear and excitement being misidentified and misapplied. Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, the very first time he went on a Ferris wheel or amusement park ride, something like that, he's standing in line and he's all like, woohoo, let's go, woohoo, ah, woohoo, no, however the little Gary Douglas was. And, which is so weird to think of Gary Douglas as a child, but there you go. And his mother turned around to him and said, all right, honey, now don't be afraid. And so what did little Gary Douglas do? Go, oh, this sensation, this is what I'm experiencing right now. This is fear, because I should be afraid right now because my mom said don't be afraid. Oh, so this is fear. Whereas in reality, it was excitement. Because little kids, how much fear do little kids have? I don't know about you, but did anybody else jump off the roof as a kid because it seemed like a good idea and was vastly surprised when we didn't actually fly? I was. But, it's like I remember climbing out on my roof one time, just sitting on the windowsill. We had a two-story house, and I climbed out, a two-story house with an attic. So I climbed out of the window, and I climbed up to the top of the roof, which was, in the attic. So it was kind of like 2.5 stories or whatever you want to call it. And scared the living daylights out of my mother. First of all, she couldn't find me. And then when she found me and I was on the roof, just sitting there all sedately, having a good look around and, contemplating life, which for me to have done this, I had to have been younger than 10 years old because I moved from this house when I was 10. So somewhere between 0 and 10, I climbed up on the roof all sedately, having a good time, having a thought, having a speculation, looking around the world. I had no fear. My mother had fear, first of all, because when you can't find your child, that tends to be a little alarming. And then second of all, to see your child on a 2.5-story roof going, what, Mom? She's like, oh my gosh, weren't you afraid? Ah. And I'm like, oh, I should be afraid here. And so I started misidentifying and misapplying, interestingly enough, that space and sense of ease and expansion I had as fear. And so every time before I started, using the tools and changing that, I would get to that place of expansion. I became fearful and I shut down. So when we're talking about turn on, what have you misidentified and misapplied as turn on? Okay? Because, we start with our bodies. Most of us, unless you're walking, that's a whole different show. Most of us start with our bodies. Our bodies, whether it's us as the same infinite being or not, start as a little baby. Okay? And they grow. And apparently this is a sci-fi show because I'm about to say, unless you're in, like you've been cloned or something and you came out a full-grown person, which, hey, if that happened to you, let me know. I think that's pretty cool. We have this baby, and we grow, and we start to have these projections and expectations about our bodies and what turn on is, what sex is, what stimulation is, a number of things, okay? So it's like, what have you misidentified and misapplied, okay, as turn on? All right, we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this as a baby or as a child, where we start to misidentify and misapply some of what turn on is and the rightness and wrongness of it, okay? All right, this is Donnielle. This is Right Body for You. We're on A2Zen.fm, and we'll be right back.
What if your body could be an ease and not a burden? What would life be like if you could enjoy your body? What if changing your body was easier than we've been taught? And what if it's not about the latest fad? Join Donnielle each week on Right Body for You as she explores what bodies are and the ease of change that's possible. Each week you will receive inspirational stories of those who've used the Right Body for You energetic tools to change their body and the tools that they used, tools that you can begin to use immediately. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8763 or UK 4433-0001-0625. You can Skype us at A2Zen.fm. Or if you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. This is Donnielle. I am your host. I'm your body tour guide. I am your giggle leader. I am your sarcasm queen? Sarcasm something. Anyway, we'll work on that title, see what comes up. Anyways, thank you for joining me today for My Body is Turned On, Now What? Before the break we were talking about how as a little baby, we come into this world with all sorts of awarenesses, all sorts of sensations and things going on. I mean, if you have ever watched a brand new baby explore their body, it is so interesting to see them discover their body. Now, what's interesting is, you remember before the break I was asking you, what have you misidentified and misapplied as turn on, okay? And so this is so many different layers on this, because look at the energy of when I said, have you seen a little baby explore their body, okay? Energy of like, did they touch themselves? Do I see a little baby caressing? What? Explore their bodies versus the energy of the said next. Have you ever seen a little baby discovering their body? Okay? Discovering their body has more of that acceptable energy of, oh, I have an arm. I discovered an arm today. Oh, look, toes. I discovered I have toes. Okay? So isn't it interesting? This is why I'm asking you, what have you misidentified and misapplied as turn on? Because if you have no projections, no expectations, totally pod poc, use active consciousness clearing statements, any points of view about that, if you watch a baby discover their body, if you ever watch a baby play with their toes, it's actually a very sensual experience. Okay? Why do you think they stick them in their mouths? Let's see if I can get these toes in my mouth. Oh, you know what? That feels good. A little baby doesn't suck on their own toes because it doesn't feel good. They're sucking on their toes because it feels good. Okay? Does it mean that it has to be something sexual? No. Okay? Sensualness is just plain and simple the fact that bodies like to be touched. There is a sensualness to it. This is why hugging is one of the most healing modalities, healing tools there is. Haven't you ever hugged someone or received a hug from somebody and just felt better afterwards? Yes. Part of that is because your body likes to be touched. So that's all sensualness is, okay? And it starts from the beginning. I have 16 nieces and nephews, and some of them have already started having children. I became an aunt for the first time when I was 10, so I've been an aunt the majority of my life. And so I have two nieces who were each on their second child, and it was, one of them is a boy, okay, and so he started playing with his little wee-wee, as they call it, or penis, right? And he's like, hey, pull my diaper's off, I can reach it, cool. And he would just sit there and play with it. And, what do mothers worldwide do? No, don't do that, that's bad. No, don't do that, that's bad. Don't do that, that's bad. And he's like, touching my penis is bad. Touch, oh, okay. Again, not a lot of cognitive thought to it yet, but he's like, okay, I shouldn't do that. That's wrong. It felt good. So anything that feels like that is wrong. Okay, got it. Because he, learning from parents. And again, this is not to make parents wrong, because we all did this. We had the tools that we were taught, right? Okay, so it's not about making it wrong. It's just about bringing awareness to it. So with things like this, it's like, as children, we come in enjoying the sensualness of touch. Why do you think? Personally, I think that's one of the reasons we come in small, besides the fact, it's easier to get out of your mother's body as a small. But it's like, how many of you would actually still like to be held up and cuddled, or picked up and just held? Go, you remember those swings? I don't know if they have them a lot anymore, but how many people remember those swings where you would put the baby in it and set it for like 15 minutes and it would just swing back and forth? I think they should still make them for adults, because I don't know about you, but I think that would be fantastic. I'd love to see a big contraption in my apartment and just have a swing in it. Like a hammock, yeah, but this is just more of that automated. It has that constant rhythm, and that would just be so nice. Okay? And part of that is actually sensualness, because if you look at it, your body is moving. Your body is moving through the air. Even air across your skin can be sensualness, can be something of a turn on. Okay? Again, what if turn on is more than, hey, you know what? I want to have sex. Okay? All right. I just thought Christine in the chat room was like, love the energy of that. I know, me too. It's like when my body and I began to share that with you guys, how many of your bodies went, oh, yeah, I want to be in those big swings right now? And, it's like, and how many of us enjoy, during winter? Most of the world, it's winter. Australia, my friends listening in Australia, it's summer. But when I sleep at night, I enjoy it colder. My body enjoys it colder with the weight of blankets. Like right now, I got a new blanket. It's great. It's very warm, but there's not much weight to it. I'm like, I miss the weight. It's because my body likes, Keisha's like me too, yeah. My body, for those of you who are wondering, Keisha and Christine and other people are not voices in my head. Well, they are voices in my head, but they're also in the chat room. If you would like to join us, go to a2zen.fm, and you can click on the top menu, and it's chat room. You just type in a name and you can join us, and you can make comments and ask questions and that kind of stuff. So while they are sometimes the voices in my head, they're also in the chat room making comments. So yes, I can hear you guys laughing. Oh yes, I can hear you laughing out loud. You guys are laughing in my head. So, which is a fun thing to have. All right, sorry, squirrel. So my body is actually missing the weight of that, okay? And that for me is my body is a very sensual experience. Again, does that have anything to do with copulation. No. It's just the sensualness, a touch, a sensation that my body is enjoying. I love in the chat room, people are like, I'm here. Hello, Eleanor. Hello, Patrina. Thank you for joining. And that it has nothing to do with copulation, okay? It has nothing to do with putting my body parts together with anybody else. All it has to do with the physical sensations, the sensualness that my body is enjoying. And, what's interesting is my body actually does get turned on. It kind of tingles. It kind of expands. It kind of goes, num, 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 which is, first, I like to say, a great sensation to go to sleep with. It's like, num, 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 so warm and cozy and comfortable. Again, has nothing to do with putting the body parts together. Okay? It sounds as Donnielle's body. Yes. All right. So that's sensualness, you guys. Bodies like to be touched. Even our private parts like to be touched. So wherever, as a child, we were discovering and exploring our bodies, the sensualness of it, including touching our private parts, and we were told, don't, that's wrong. Truth, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it and return it to sender, please? Cool. Right, wrong, good, bad, black, online, church, boys, and beyond. Okay? It's funny to look at. I was doing what this reality would call masturbating before I even knew what it was. Again, the same house. I had to have been younger than 10. I discovered early on, ooh, that feels good. And I was actually bringing myself to a climax of a sort, my body to a climax of a sort early on, because it just felt good. Again, it had nothing to do with putting body parts together. It was just something my body was enjoying. I love it. Patrina's moving her computer to her bed. She wants her blankies. I love it. Yes. That's it. From now on, at the end of the show, I want everybody in bed, enjoying their blanket. All right. So, so one more time. Everywhere we've been told, everywhere whether from birth on, we were starting to explore and discover our bodies and the sensualness of it, and we were told that was wrong. Don't do it. Truth, would you guys be willing to destroy and uncreate it? Return to sender, please. Cool. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, online, short, boys, and beyond. Okay? So that's the sensualness. All right? We're going to take a quick little break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about sexualness. Okay? Sensualness is, yes, Keisha, thank you. She's like, essentially we're told to stop discovering you. Yes. Stop enjoying our body. Stop allowing it to be a contribution. It's like, oh, we were told doing that was bad, so how much awareness do we actually cut off from our bodies? Okay? And which leads us to, when we come back from a break, we're actually going to talk more about that. We talked about the sensualness, that our bodies like to be touched, and sometimes we've misidentified, misapplied as turn on, a wrongness, or have to shut that down, have to disconnect, okay? But there's also there's lots of aspects. The other aspect I'm going to talk about is the sexualness of it, okay? And yes, sexualness can include copulation, and we're going to talk about that also, folks. But it's also so much more than just copulating. It's also about what you know, okay? So we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk about that. So this is Donnielle. This is Right Body for You. We're on a2zen.fm, and we'll be right back.
What if your body could be an ease and not a burden? What would life be like if you could enjoy your body? What if changing your body was easier than we've been taught? And what if it's not about the latest fad? Join Donnielle each week on Right Body for You as she explores what bodies are and the ease of change that's possible. Each week you will receive inspirational stories of those who've used the Right Body for You energetic tools to change their body and the tools that they used, tools that you can begin to use immediately. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions, or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8763 or UK 4433-0001-0625. You can Skype us at a2zen.fm. Or if you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle@accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. I am Donnielle. I am your host. I am your body, hello, body tour guide, your giggle leader, and, whatever else creates ease in your day. Thank you for joining me today, now and in the future, and, hey, in the past.
So, hello, everyone. This is Christine McIver. And Keisha Clark has just joined me as well. How does it get any better? Hello, Keisha.
Hello, Christine.
Our bodies are so amazing because they respond so quickly when our hosts have technical issues and when they're creating these amazing radio shows. Wouldn't you agree?
I totally agree, yes.
So, what has been so far your favorite about the radio show today with Donnielle?
Oh my gosh, what we were just getting into was really getting exciting and juicy for me about just that awareness of how much I had been creating and sort of in training to a wrongness of discovering me. And how much of me have I not even attempted to question into or choose into or allow to show up, because I didn't want to explore or discover that. And it wasn't a cognitive, it's so deep. It's so unconscious,
right?
Is what was really remarkable to me. So how about you? What's up in your world?
Yeah, it was, I just love the energy of what Donnielle was talking about with just the wind or just that sensualness with my body has been so beautiful to acknowledge it. And much too, as a young child, I was this young, curious girl, and I was discovering my body with touching other girls' bodies. And, as a very, very young little girl, someone scolded me heavily. I got in a lot of trouble, and I had no idea what I had really done wrong. I was looking at them like, what? You're just so innocent. You have no idea that there's a wrongness. And whenever I would naturally just go to touch myself anywhere, I'd be like, whoa, wait, that's really wrong. And how much did I cut off communicating with my body, because in that moment I started to judge that actually being in communion with my body in any way was wrong.
Wow. There's so much energy around that. Would you do a clearing for us, Miss Christine?
Yes, I would. So everywhere you have cut off communicating, receiving, dancing, or playing with your body based on someone else's point of view, that touching her, playing with him, or embracing all that you have created in this time, space, and reality, will you please destroy and create all of that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right,
yes.
wrong, good, bad, talking pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. How many people out there are actually getting turned on, excited about anything. You know, it could be you're excited about you're creating a radio show and your body's getting turned on. You're going, wait, I need to calm down. I need to stay focused. And it's like, really? You came into the body. You're here in a body, creating with a body, and then when your body gets involved, you turn it off?
Because that makes so much sense, right?
Like, you know what, since playing with Donnielle and since, you know, really stepping into this body of work about bodies, I have been discovering and uncovering places that have been turned off and shut out of my creations with my body. I am so grateful for all of these tools and all that Donnielle and everyone, you know, with this body of work has contributed. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely amazing.
Hello,
ladies. We were just praising you, Miss Donnielle.
Hi. Welcome back to your show.
Thank you. So good to be here. I would even say it's a turn on to be here.
Nice.
To turn on
to have you.
Thank you. And
take it away, Donnielle.
It's all yours, sweetheart.
I asked them to thank you, ladies. I'm so grateful. And I asked because it kicked me out of the chat room and everything, you guys. It was like some serious drop. And it's interesting because it's like, for me, I find it very interesting when these things happen or occur. Things don't happen, but they do occur. And it's like, how much resistance is it to changing the subject? How much have we made ourselves so wrong for it that it's like, no, I don't want to hear this. Poof. You know, and because it's interesting. I did this. I actually did this with my body. Before I noticed we were not broadcasting, or I was not broadcasting, I was being brilliant. Let me just say I was being brilliant. I can't remember what I say, but I thought it was funny. So basically I was talking about, you know, the first part of the show, we were talking about the sensualness of bodies and that the bodies like to be touched and that we were made wrong from the beginning of we were, oh, that felt good. And not as in, oh, that felt good, I'm going to lead to an orgasm, felt good, or it felt good, you know. And how many of us, speaking of, how many of us have misidentified, misapplied? Anything that feels good must lead somewhere else. How come it can't just feel good for feel good's sake? Okay? So everywhere we've misidentified or misapplied that feel good means it leads to something else, truth would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all that? Right, real good, bad, talk about the nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay? So when I first started allowing my body to contribute to me, when I first started acknowledging the consciousness of it, the awareness of it, I said this at the beginning of the show, I was what people would say, you know, like they call teenage boys a walking hard-on. That was kind of me. I was like constantly in a state of what this reality says is turn on. And I misidentified and misapplied that as I must have copulation. You know, in Access Consciousness, we break out the terms of sex as sex, sensuality, which is the bodies like to be touched, sexuality, sensualness, and copulation, you know, when you actually put the body parts together. And so we're going to be talking the second half of the show about the sexualness, okay? And sexualness is what I was being, all right? When I first started allowing the contribution of my body, this reality calls the energy that was moving and flowing turn on. And what it was sexualness, okay? And so let me give you a brief description of what sexualness is, okay? Access Consciousness and Right Body for You describes sexualness as the energy of life, what you feel in nature, no judgment, the nurturing, caring, healing, generative, creative, the excitement, the expansiveness, the joyful, the orgasmic quality of life. Okay? Go back to when I was a kid and I was on that roof. That is what I was being. I was being that sexualness of that oneness of everything. And I could feel every cell of my body, and it was an orgasmic experience. Was it orgasmic as in I sat there in the throes of orgasm going, yes, yes, yes? No, that was not me on on the roof of the house. It was just me being that oneness, that space, that and turned on. Okay? I was being that sexualness. I was being turned on. My body was turned on. It was receiving awareness. It was sharing awareness. I was receiving that awareness. And with that communication, I had that sexualness. I had that turn on. And my body became stimulated, not from a point of stimulation to orgasm, but a point of stimulation of awareness, stimulation of oneness, of consciousness, of expansion, of that orgasmic quality of life, okay? And what's interesting is I misidentified and misapplied that as, I must hump something. I must have sex with everything that walks or blah, 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 blah. And because I was raised Mormon, I hadn't quite podpocked that yet. And so what did I do with this turn on? I judged myself. I judged my body. And what was one of the fastest ways for me to change that turn on, to change that, was to gain some weight or do whatever, or try to shut my body off. Which again, as I asked at the beginning of the show, how do you even turn something off? How do you turn your body off? I don't know how. But I could try to disconnect from the awarenesses that it had. And when I disconnected from the awarenesses and the oneness and the expansion and the sexualness of it, the turn on lessened. But it wasn't that I was turning off my body. It was that I was trying to deny the awarenesses, and I was turning down my sexualness, which is interesting because sexualness is the energy of life. And, it's not just like, the energy of life, poof, but when you are having your sexualness turned on, you attract people. And I don't just mean copulation partners. I mean you attract people for clients. You attract people for friends. You attract people to pay you. You attract people for business. You attract people for inspiration. You attract people. Because one thing that is one of the most attractive things to another person is a person who has no judgment of themselves. And that no judgment of themselves is part of that sexualness, okay? And really look at somebody you're attracted to, not sexually, or it could be sexually, but not just in a way. If you're seeing that person, they tend to have less judgment of themselves. We've all seen those people who think pretty highly of themselves, and they're all like, oh, yes, I am all of that, and a pile of gold, right? Or whatever it is. How much judgment do they actually have about themselves? Are you attracted to them, or are you just attracted to their judgment? Okay, it's really interesting. All right, so when we are talking about this turn on, it's this sexualness. And, first half of the show we talked about sensualness, which is the touch, okay? And the touch is only part of it. Because if you look at it, if you guys have, I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of massages. I can always tell them when the masseuses have their sexualness turned on and their sexualness turned off or dampened down, because my body responds in a different way, okay? When I have a masseuse, whether they're male or female, and my body tends to prefer males, it just does. Males as in copulation partners. But when my massage therapists are male or female, it doesn't matter. When they have their sexualness turned on, my body gets so turned on during the massage. Again, not turned on that I want to throw my stuff. Turned on is in that creative, generative energies. Their sexualness shares my sexualness, and it is amazing. My body is turned on. And you know what? It's interesting because even during those massages, I'm like,
I think what she was going to say, and even during those massages, my body giving information. What do you think she was going to say, Keisha?
That actually, yeah, it's very light, yeah. And I love that she brought that up, being having been in the hands-on healing arts for many, many years. That's very, very true for me, is when I was administering the work, when I was actually doing the work from that space of allowing the sexualness of me to be on and be active, so much more could be created with that person's body, whether they were asleep, awake, or whatever. It's just so beautiful to me. I'm so grateful she brought that into the conversation. Yeah.
Me too.
Wow.
She's pretty amazing. Someone's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You know what's popping in my head? I wonder if she'll get back on, is one thing that I'm thinking. And the other thing that I'm thinking is, I wonder if people are kind of asking, how do we turn our sexualness on when we're doing work with others and we're not doing copulation with them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I get the not turning ourselves off, but if we're already off, how do we turn ourselves on with that? Does that make sense, Keisha?
I love that. And yes, what do you notice with that as you work with, because you do a lot of the access body processes, correct?
Yes, I do them with the trades, with a lot of the women in access, and if there's men that come, I do it with them. And I don't do it as much with people I don't know. Mm-hmm. Just the radio and coaching keeps me busy, but I'm curious. I'm going to really pay attention to that and ask some questions, even maybe asking my body, hey body, can we turn our sexualness on? Mm-hmm. Even more, because I get that there's something missing for me in my awareness around it.
Mhm. Yeah, that is. Wow, there's a potency there. There's some energy moving.
What, with me and bodies?
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
wow.
Darling.
How does it get better than this? It's like, okay, so whatever is not wanting this to be shared, the story none creates that crap. Right, wrong, good, bad, black, shirts, boys, and beyond.
You go, girl.
Okay, all right, so let me get back onto the rant I was doing apparently after the massage therapist sexualness. Okay, so my body gets turned on during a massage, whether it's a male or female, it doesn't matter. It's not something like I want to go copulate with him in the corner or whatever. It's not what I'm talking about. But what it is my body gets so turned on because part of that sexualness is actually creation. And so I create during those massages. I create at times like that. I create my business, my life, ideas. It's really interesting, the creation that gets involved when you allow your body to have that level of turned on, okay? And what else is really interesting is because people are saying lower barriers receive sexualness. Yes, because I receive their sexualness because I have no point of view about it. And what's interesting is the more point of view or more lack of point of view I have, the less point of view they have, and they actually enjoy it and they feel better as well. And sometimes, often when I'm doing like sessions during hands-on sessions instead of just verbal processing, my body actually gets turned on in what this reality would say is a sexual way. Like, okay, I don't know how descriptive you want me to be, but my body is ready to have sex. It gets wet, it gets stimulated and things like that because there's such a level of sensualness going on. But that doesn't actually mean that copulation is a part of that. All it means is my body is turned on. My body is in that energy flow. My body is going, woohoo, I'm generative, I'm creative, I'm in the orgasmic place of life. I am that I am alive. Okay? And so when it's like that, it's like, oh my gosh, my body's turned on. I have a hard on or I got wet. I must want to have sex with this person. Not necessarily. All it means sometimes is that you are extremely turned on. There's a level of awareness. There's a level of sexualness going on that is creation. Yes, sometimes that creation is to have the children. So it's like, where have we misidentified and misapplied that creation is only with children? Just because our body's getting ready to copulate? Well, what if it's something else as well? Okay? So with this, wow, we might have to do another show on this topic because I didn't even get through a fourth of what I wanted to talk about, and that was before the drop-off. So we'll put down My Body is Turned On Part 2. This was the foreplay. The next time, we'll do My Body Was Turned On Intercourse, as in the verbal intercourse. I love it. Okay, I think I'm clever. All right, so, please start looking at this, you guys. And instead of assuming, oh, I'm all turned on, ask, body, are you giving me awareness? Body, are you creating? Okay? It's not this, and what have I misidentified and misapplied as turn on? What have I misidentified and misapplied as sexualness? What have I misidentified and misapplied as sensualness? What have I misidentified and misapplied as liking to be touched? Where does that go? So start asking yourself these questions. It's like, what else is possible if we just allow the contribution and allow our bodies to be turned on? Doesn't mean we're little horny toads. Well, I mean, you could be a little horny toad. That's a different discussion. But it doesn't mean that you have to go copulate with people. All it means is you're alive. You're creating. What if next time your body is so turned on that you're like, woohoo, I want to hump everything walking? You can be like, I am being so creative right now. I am creating the world. Woohoo, you're welcome, world. I'm creating you. Whatever that may be. All right. I like what to do to turn your body back on. Quick question. What to do and turn your body back on? Allow it. These questions I'm asking you, what have I misidentified and misapplied as turn on? You can start there. What have I misidentified and misapplied as creation? Actually, that one's interesting, okay? And what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be to be the space and ease of sexualness you truly be, okay? And one more, start asking questions of your body. When you feel that turn on, body, are you turned on, you want to have copulation, or body, are you creating? Okay, start asking these questions. And, explore what actually feels good on your body sensual-wise. And ask if your body wants to lead that to copulation, or if it's just that it's enjoying that. If you guys ever see me in classes, sometimes I'm like stroking my arms or my legs just because it feels good, not because I am doing anything other than just being kind and grateful for my body. Okay. All right. So please listen to the show again, even with the dropouts. There's a lot going on in the show, and we will have a part 2. My body's turned on intercourse. This is apparently foreplay. All right. So yes, Eleanor, please try that. Thank you. All right. So if you guys want to know more about Right Body for You or me, please go to Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE.com. There's a lot of information out there. I'm getting my schedule of classes and workshops for 2016. It's all over the world, you guys. So please come check it out. See if there's one near you. You can go to accessconsciousness.com and look me up, Donnielle, and it gets the schedule is there too, okay? Literally all over the world. I'd love to play with you and your bodies during a workshop. We laugh, we have fun, we change the world, and we enjoy our bodies. I know, what a strange concept. All right, so thanks, everyone. Make it a good week. Make it a fun week. Make it a happy week. Enjoy your body because it's enjoying you. And you know what? See you back next week. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Right Body for You. Donnielle will return next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on A to Zen.fm. We hope you and your body will join us.